criminal charges for alleged human trafficking. Abrego Garcia has been at the center of a high-profile court battle over his mistaken deportation to El Salvador. These charges are related to a 2022 traffic stop in Tennessee, where the Department of Homeland Security said Abrego Garcia was pulled over with a vehicle full of passengers who all gave his home address as their own. The Trump administration has admitted his deportation to El Salvador was what they called an administrative error, but had refused to facilitate his return despite a Supreme Court ruling. Let's get right to ABC's Catherine Falders, who has this exclusive reporting. So, Catherine, what do we know so far?
So, Diane, what we know is that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back on his way from El Salvador to the United States. He's flying here and should land late this afternoon in the United States. Now, we're told by sources that he's on his way back because he is facing criminal charges. He's been indicted by a federal grand jury, an indictment that remains under seal on charges related to human trafficking. So once in the United States, he will face federal criminal charges for allegedly transporting undocumented migrants within the United States. And as you mentioned, that stems from what we've reported on previously, that 2022 Tennessee Highway Patrol traffic stop where Abrego Garcia was pulled over for speeding. He was in that car with 8 other people who he was transporting. He was originally let go with a warning by the sheriffs, but those sheriffs were speculating off camera that that could be related to potentially transporting undocumented migrants. Now, it's important to note here that this investigation, these federal charges, did not really get put into motion until April. That was weeks after he was deported and after the government admitted that he was mistakenly deported. So this federal investigation started when he was already in El Salvador. Of course, this is a mechanism to bring him back to the United States, where he will land shortly. We are told by sources that an indictment could be unsealed as soon as today, where we will see these federal charges. But again, it's worth pointing out, too, that it's unlikely that this criminal investigation wouldn't have started if it wasn't for that judge in Maryland in that civil case saying that ordering the government to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States. We remember that went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed with the district judge here and said that he must come back. But again, it's important to point out this is separate litigation. That's the civil case. He is now facing criminal charges here in the United States.
So, Catherine, what's next here?
So what would likely happen next is once Kilmar Abrego Garcia touches down on U.S. soil, he will likely either make his way to a courthouse potentially to face these charges. Maybe that's a federal prison. Again, all of this is unknown. Details are still coming in here, but that is likely what will happen next. He will be here. He will likely make an initial appearance. Timing on that is unclear, but he will be told of these criminal charges if he hasn't already been told when he got on that plane from El Salvador.
All right, Catherine Falders, thanks for that. Again, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is now en route to the U.S., according to sources, to face charges for alleged human trafficking. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com.